Hello, everyone. Welcome back to English in Fluency. I am Alex, and I am so happy you are here with me today for another deep dive into your English learning journey. Today we have a very special topic, and I think it might be one of the most important lessons we have ever discussed together. We are going to talk about B1 English listening practice, but not in the traditional way of just repeating words or checking a list of vocabulary. No, today we are going to build confidence by accepting partial understanding. This is the secret to learning even when it is not perfect. I know many of you get frustrated when you listen to a movie, a podcast, or a conversation on the street, and you only catch 50% of the words, or maybe even less. You feel like you failed. You feel that you must understand 100% to be successful. But I am here to tell you that is not true. In fact, needing to understand everything is what stops you from progressing. So, take a deep breath, relax your shoulders, and let's talk about how you can get comfortable with not knowing everything, because that is where real fluency begins. To start, I want you to imagine a very common situation. Imagine you are sitting in a busy coffee shop in London. You are tired, maybe a little bit cold from walking outside, and you just want a hot drink. The noise level is quite high. You hear the machine grinding coffee beans, you hear music playing in the background, and you hear people laughing and chatting at the tables next to you. You walk up to the counter to order. The barista looks at you and smiles. He looks like he is in a hurry, and he speaks very fast. He says something to you. Now, if you are focused on perfection, you might panic right there. You might think, oh no, I didn't catch the last word. What did he say? Did he ask me a question? Is he annoyed? But if you are practicing partial understanding, you stay calm. You focus on the words you did hear. Maybe you heard large and hot. That is enough. You see his eyes move to the cup size on the counter. You use the context. You realize he is asking about the size. You answer, yes, large please. You didn't need to understand every syllable. You just needed enough information to complete the interaction. That is the goal for today. We are going to follow a character today to help illustrate this. Let's call him Liam. Liam is a B1 learner. He has been studying English for 2 years. He knows grammar rules fairly well, and he has a decent vocabulary, but when it comes to listening, he freezes. He wants every sentence to be clear, like a textbook reading. But life is not a textbook. Today, Liam is going on a trip. He is taking a train to visit a friend in another city. This is a perfect environment for us to practice, because train stations are noisy, fast, and stressful. They are the ultimate test of partial understanding. As we follow Liam, I want you to close your eyes sometimes and just listen to the flow of the story or imagine the sounds around him. Try to feel what he feels. When we stop to analyze, I will show you exactly how Liam survives and succeeds by accepting that he doesn't understand everything. So, Liam arrives at the train station. It is a big old building with a high ceiling and echoes everywhere. He has his ticket on his phone, which is good because he doesn't have to interact with a machine yet. He walks through the main hall. He is looking for the platform number. He looks up at the big electronic departure board. It is huge, with yellow and black text, but there are so many names scrolling by. He feels a little anxious. He needs to find the 9:45 train to Manchester. He stands there for a moment, letting his eyes scan the board. He sees Manchester, but he also sees delayed next to it. Oh, that is not a good start. Now, there is an announcement over the loudspeaker. This is the moment of truth for Liam. The voice is loud, but it is a bit distorted because of the bad speakers. The announcer speaks quickly. Attention passengers traveling on the 9:45 service to Manchester. This train is now departing from platform 6. Please mind the gap. Now, let's break this down from Liam's perspective. If Liam is trying to understand every single word perfectly, he might get stuck on the first word, attention. He might miss Manchester. He might panic when he hears the static in the speaker. But today, Liam is using his new strategy. He is fishing for keywords. He doesn't care about attention. He is waiting for his destination, Manchester. He catches it. Then he catches platform 6. That is all he needs. He ignores the rest. He ignores the static. He ignores the formal tone. He just grabs the numbers in the name. He feels a rush of confidence. He didn't need to understand the polite request to mind the gap. He just needed to know where to go. He walks towards platform 6. He notices that he feels less stressed than usual because he wasn't fighting the audio. He was riding the wave of it. This is the first step to building confidence. You have to let go of the details and catch the big fish. Liam finds platform 6 and gets on the train. He finds a seat by the window. He puts his bag on the rack and sits down with a sigh of relief. The train starts moving. The rhythm of the train is soothing. Now, he decides to listen to a podcast on his phone to pass the time. This is a very common activity for English learners, but it is also where many people give up. Liam puts on a podcast about travel. The host is speaking at a normal speed. Not too fast, but not slow either. He is telling a story about a trip to Japan. At first, Liam follows along well. He understands the introduction. He understands where the guy went. But then, the host starts describing a specific type of food. He uses words Liam has never heard before. He describes the ingredients in Japanese and English. Liam feels the urge to stop. He feels the urge to look up every single word. He thinks, if I don't know this word, I am not learning. But wait. Liam remembers the lesson about partial understanding. He decides to keep listening without stopping. He hears the host talking about umami and fermented beans. He doesn't know exactly what fermented beans are, but he hears the tone of the host's voice. The host sounds excited. He hears the audience laugh. Liam infers that the food is probably interesting, maybe a little strange, but delicious. He focuses on the feeling of the story. He realizes that the exact vocabulary is not necessary to enjoy the content. He understands that the food is special and that the host loved it. That is the essence of the story. He successfully listened for 5 minutes without looking up a word. He felt the flow of the English. He noticed the connected speech, how words like fermented flowed into beans. If he had stopped, he would have lost the rhythm. By accepting partial understanding, he actually trained his brain to process English sounds for longer periods. This is how you build stamina for listening. Suddenly, the train conductor walks into Liam's carriage. This is another classic listening test. The conductor is an older man with a deep voice. He is checking tickets. He stops in front of Liam. "Tickets, please," the conductor says. Liam holds up his phone screen. The conductor looks at it and nods. Then he starts talking. "Right, sir. Just so you know, There's some work being done on the tracks ahead, so we'll be stopping for about 10 minutes at the next station. You're all right to stay here, but if you want to stretch your legs, feel free. There's a buffet car 2 doors down if you need a cuppa. Liam listens. He understands stopping for about 10 minutes. He understands next station. He gets the main point. But when the conductor says buffet car, Liam hesitates. He thinks, buffet car? Is that a car that carries food? He isn't 100% sure. In the past, he would have asked, what is a buffet car? Or he would have nodded nervously, feeling stupid for not knowing. But today, he trusts his intuition. He sees the conductor point down the aisle. He hears kupa, which he knows means a cup of tea. He deduces that there is a place to get tea down the aisle. He doesn't need a precise definition of buffet car. He understands enough to know he can get a drink if he wants. He smiles and says, "Thank you." The conductor moves on. Liam feels successful. He navigated a real-life interaction without getting a dictionary. He accepted that he didn't know the specific term buffet car, but he used the context of kupa and the pointing finger to understand. This is the beautiful thing about partial understanding. It forces you to use your brain in a natural way, like a detective solving a puzzle with only half the clues. Let's pause here and talk about why this is so effective for your brain. When you translate every word in your head, you are doing a very heavy, slow job. You are trying to turn English into your native language, process it, and then turn your answer back into English. It is like trying to drive a car with the handbrake on. It is exhausting. When you accept partial understanding, you take the handbrake off. You allow your brain to guess. You allow your brain to make assumptions based on tone and situation. This is how native speakers listen. Even native speakers do not catch every word in a noisy bar or a fast-paced movie. They just catch the important words and fill in the blanks. You are doing the same thing. You are training your brain to function in English, not just in your language. I want to give you a small exercise right now. I want you to think of a time recently when you listened to English and felt confused. Maybe it was a song or a YouTube video. Now, I want you to forgive yourself for not understanding it. I want you to say, out loud if you can, "It is okay that I didn't understand everything. I caught some words, and that is a good start." By acknowledging this, you remove the emotional block. You remove the feeling of failure. When you remove the fear, your brain opens up. It becomes more receptive to new sounds. You become more willing to listen again. And repetition is key. If you stop because you feel bad, you never hear the words again. But if you accept partial understanding, you listen again, and again, and eventually, the words you missed become clear. They emerge from the fog like a ship coming into harbor. Let's go back to Liam. He is getting off the train at his destination. He is meeting his friend, Sophie. Sophie is a native English speaker, and she speaks very quickly, especially when she is excited. She is waiting for him on the platform. As soon as she sees him, she waves and runs over. "Liam! Oh my goodness, it's been ages! How was the journey? Did you have any trouble with the delays? I heard there was a signal failure near the city center, but I wasn't sure if it affected your line. Anyway, come on, let's get a taxi. I'm starving." That is a lot of information very quickly. Let's see how Liam handles it. He hears ages. He knows that means a long time. He hears journey and delays. He puts two and two together. She is asking about his trip. He doesn't catch signal failure or city center. Those details are too specific and too fast. But he hears the tone. He hears trouble and affected. He understands she is worried about the train. He doesn't need to know exactly where the signal failure was to answer her question. He just needs to say if his trip was okay. So he says, "The journey was fine, thanks. Just a little delay." Sophie smiles. "Oh, that's a relief. Come on then." She starts walking towards the exit. She continues talking. "I thought we could go to that new Italian place near the park. You know, the one with the wooden tables? They do amazing pasta. Or we could just grab a burger if you prefer. I'm easy, honestly." Liam is walking with her, carrying his bag. He is listening. He catches Italian place, park, wooden tables, and pasta. He also catches burger. He doesn't catch "I'm easy," which is an idiom meaning "I don't mind" or "I don't have a strong preference." He hears easy and wonders for a split second why she is talking about being easy. But he quickly dismisses it. He focuses on the food options. He knows she is asking him to choose. He doesn't understand the whole sentence structure, but he understands the intent. He says, "Pasta sounds great. I'm hungry too." Sophie says, "Perfect. Let's go." See how smooth that is? Liam missed an idiom. He missed some connecting words, but the conversation continued perfectly. He was confident. He wasn't apologizing every 5 seconds, saying, "Sorry, can you repeat?" He just went with the flow. This makes him a better conversation partner. It makes him fun to talk to. People enjoy talking to someone who reacts naturally, rather than someone who interrupts the flow constantly to analyze grammar. As they walk to the taxi, Liam realizes something. He realizes that he is understanding more than he thought he would. By letting go of the pressure to understand 100%, his brain is actually picking up more. The words seem to stick in his memory better because he isn't panicking. He notices the sound of the Italian restaurant name when Sophie mentions it. He notices the sound of the traffic around them. He is present in the moment. He is not inside his own head translating. This is the bridge to fluency. Fluency is not knowing every word. Fluency is being able to communicate effectively even when there are gaps in your knowledge. We often think that B1 is a middle level, not quite beginner, but not advanced. It can feel like a plateau. You feel stuck. You feel like you are not improving. But I truly believe B1 is the most exciting level because this is where you stop learning English as a subject and start using it as a tool. You start living in English. And the key to unlocking this level is accepting that imperfection is part of the process. If you wait until you understand everything to speak or to listen confidently, you will wait forever. You must jump in. You must accept the splash. It is cold at first, but then you get used to the water, and soon you are swimming. I want you to practice this mindset today. After this session, find something in English to listen to. It could be a news report, a video about cooking, a conversation between two people, or even just the commentary on a football match. Listen to it for 5 minutes without stopping. Do not use a dictionary. Do not pause. If you miss a word, let it go. If you miss a sentence, let it go. Focus on the main idea. Ask yourself, what is the general mood? What are they talking about generally? Who is speaking? If you can answer those 3 questions at the end of the 5 minutes, you have succeeded. You have practiced partial understanding. You have trained your brain to deal with ambiguity. Liam and Sophie arrive at the restaurant. They sit down. The waiter comes over. He has a heavy accent, maybe from a different part of the country. He speaks fast. "Good evening, folks. Can I start you off with some drinks while you look at the menu? We've got a special on the wine today. Half price for the house red." Liam listens. He hears drinks. He hears special. He hears wine. He catches half price. He looks at Sophie. She says, "Just water for me, please." Liam says, "Water for me too, thanks." He navigated the interaction perfectly again. He didn't need to know what house red meant. He just knew it was an offer for wine. Later, he might ask Sophie, "What is house red?" and she will explain it. That is how he learns vocabulary and context naturally after the pressure is gone. Think about how much stress Liam avoided by not trying to be perfect. He enjoyed his train journey. He enjoyed meeting his friend. He enjoyed the start of his dinner. He was present. He was confident. And you can do this too. It takes practice. It takes conscious effort to stop yourself from panicking. But the next time you feel that panic rising, just take a deep breath and tell yourself, "I don't need to understand every word. I just need the general idea." It is a mantra. Say it to yourself. I don't need every word. Let's look at another scenario. Imagine Liam is now at Sophie's house. They are in the living room. Sophie turns on the TV to watch a drama series. It is a detective show. The characters are whispering because they are hiding from the killer. The background music is tense and loud. The dialogue is very quiet, slang-heavy, and full of idioms. This is the hardest kind of listening for any learner. Liam could easily get frustrated and say, "This is impossible. I can't understand." But instead, he decides to watch it like a silent movie for a while. He focuses on their faces. He sees the fear in their eyes. He sees them pointing at a door. He sees a gun. He understands the situation without understanding the words. Then he catches a word here and there. Behind, door, run. He pieces it together. He isn't following the complex plot twist, but he is following the immediate action. He is entertained. He is participating. Later, Sophie pauses the TV. "Can you believe he did that?" she asks. Liam takes a guess based on what he saw. "He stole the money?" Sophie laughs. "No, he called the police. Look, see his phone?" Liam realizes his mistake, but he doesn't feel bad. He laughs too. He learned something. He learned that the gesture he saw wasn't about stealing. It was about using a phone. He learned a piece of English information not from a vocabulary list, but from a mistake he made while watching TV. This is active learning. This is learning that sticks. Now, we are going to look at the how. We are going to explore the specific sounds of English that actually carry the meaning, and we will practice how to tune your ears to hear them. It is going to be a very practical session, so I want you to stay relaxed and keep your mind open. When we listen to English, especially at a B1 level, it often sounds like one long, continuous stream of noise. It can feel like water rushing over a riverbed, just a constant flow of sound where it is hard to tell where one word ends and the next one begins. This happens because of a concept called connected speech. Native speakers do not pronounce every word separately like a robot. We link words together. We push sounds into each other. This is natural, but it makes listening difficult. However, there is a secret pattern hidden inside this stream. Not every word is equal in the sentence. Some words are strong, loud, and clear, while others are weak, fast, and quiet. If you can learn to ignore the weak words and focus only on the strong words, your understanding will skyrocket without needing to know every single detail. This is the difference between listening with the dictionary in your hand and listening with your brain engaged in the real world. Let's rejoin Liam to see this in action. Remember, Liam is at his friend Sophie's house, and they have just finished a wonderful dinner. Now, they are sitting in the living room with two other friends, a couple named Julia and David. The atmosphere is lively. Everyone has eaten a good meal. They are maybe a little bit tired, but the conversation is flowing. There is soft jazz music playing in the corner of the room. Someone is clinking glasses with a spoon to make an announcement. It is a noisy, happy environment, which is actually the hardest place to listen. David stands up. He has a big smile on his face. He wants to tell a funny story about his dog, Buster. David is very enthusiastic. He speaks quickly and with a lot of energy. He starts speaking. So, I was walking Buster in the park yesterday, right near the big pond, and suddenly he sees a duck. Well, he doesn't just bark. Oh no. He pulls the leash right out of my hand and jumps straight into the water. It was hilarious. Now, imagine you are Liam. If you try to hear every word, you might get stuck on suddenly, right, near, or well. You might get lost in the grammar. But let's apply our filter. We are going to listen for the content words. These are the words that carry the picture, the action, and the objects. They are usually nouns, verbs, adjectives, and adverbs. The function words are the small grammar words like I, was, in, the, he, it, and. These are the glue, but they are often swallowed or spoken very softly. So, what would Liam hear if he focused only on the strong beats? He would hear walking, Buster, park, yesterday, big, pond, sees, duck, bark, pulls, leash, hand, jumps, water, hilarious. If you just read those words, you get the whole story. You don't need to hear I was to know someone is walking. You don't need the to understand it is a park. Liam understands the story completely. He laughs at the right time. He enjoys the interaction. He didn't need the small words. He built the movie in his mind using just the strong pillars of the sentence. This is a skill you can start practicing today. When you listen to English, try to imagine that the small words are invisible. Just grab the big, heavy words. Let's introduce a new character now to see a different side of this. Let's meet Maya. Maya is also a B1 learner, but she lives in a different city. She is a student, and she loves reading. She is very good at grammar, but she finds listening to be very stressful because she wants to analyze the structure. Today, Maya is in a university library. It is very quiet. She is wearing large headphones, and she is listening to a recorded lecture about history. This is a different kind of challenge from a noisy dinner party. The speaker is a professor, and he is speaking very clearly, but he is using long, complex sentences. The topic is the Industrial Revolution. Maya is listening to this sentence. The rapid expansion of factories in the North significantly altered the social structure of the working class during this period. If Maya tries to translate every word, her brain will crash before the sentence ends. Rapid expansion, factories, North, altered, social structure, working class, period. She might miss significantly or during, but she catches the key concepts. She understands that factories grew in the North and changed workers' lives. She accepts that she didn't catch the prepositions perfectly. She focuses on the heavy words that carry the meaning. By doing this, she can listen for 10 minutes without getting a headache. If she stopped to analyze of the and during this, she would fall behind and miss the next sentence entirely. This is the danger of perfection. It slows you down. Partial understanding, focusing on the heavy words, keeps you moving at the speed of the speaker. I want you to think about your own listening practice for a moment. Do you get stuck on the small words? Do you panic when you miss a word like at, or for, or to? I want to encourage you to let those go. They are not important for your general understanding. Native speakers rely heavily on context. If I say to you, I'm going the shops, you know I am going to the shops. You don't need the preposition to understand my intention. So, give yourself permission to drop the small words from your mind. If they catch your ear, great. But if they don't, do not worry about it. It is like walking through a forest. You do not need to stop and look at every single leaf on every single tree to know you are in a forest. You just need to see the trees. The content words are the trees. The function words are the leaves. Let's go back to Liam at the dinner party. The conversation has shifted. Now Julia is talking to Liam. She is asking him a question, but she is also giving him some advice about his travel plans. She leans forward and speaks in a serious tone. Look, Liam, if you want to save money, you really should book the tickets in advance. I know it seems like a hassle, but trust me, it's worth it. Liam listens. He hears the stress on save money, book tickets, advance, and worth it. He catches the phrase should book. He understands that she is advising him to buy tickets early. He doesn't worry about the exact pronunciation of hassle. He hears the negative tone, he hears seems like, and he guesses that hassle means something annoying or difficult. He doesn't stop the conversation to ask for a definition. He just replies, "That is good advice, thank you. I will look tonight." The conversation flows. Julia feels heard. Liam feels smart. The interaction is successful because Liam trusted the stressed words and the context. Another important aspect of listening that we need to talk about is intonation. Intonation is the music of the language. It is the way the voice goes up and down. In English, we use intonation to show emotion, to show if we are asking a question, or to show if we are finished speaking. Sometimes you might not understand the vocabulary, but you can understand the feeling just by listening to the music of the voice. For example, if someone's voice goes up at the end of a sentence, they are probably asking a question. If their voice goes down and is flat, they are making a statement. If their voice gets higher and louder, they are excited or angry. If it gets soft and low, they are sad or serious. You can use these clues to help you understand what is happening, even if the words are a blur. Liam experiences this later in the evening. Sophie's phone rings. She steps out of the room to answer it. Liam stays in the living room with David. Through the open door, they can hear Sophie talking. They cannot hear the person on the other end of the line, only Sophie. Her voice starts off calm. "Hello? Yes, speaking." Then her voice gets higher. "Oh, no, really? When?" Then her voice gets very fast and loud. "But that is impossible. I paid for it yesterday." Liam and David look at each other. They don't know who she is talking to or what it is, but they understand the emotion perfectly. They know she is upset, shocked, and angry. They understand there is a problem. Liam didn't need the details to know that something was wrong. He understood the situation through the tone of her voice. This is a powerful tool for a B1 learner. When you are watching a movie or listening to a conversation, close your eyes sometimes and just listen to the music. Ask yourself, is this person happy, sad, angry, bored? If you can answer that, you have understood a huge part of the communication. Now, let's practice a specific exercise together. I am going to say a sentence. I want you to listen to the rhythm, not the words. Just listen to the beat. I will say it slowly first. I am going to the store. Now, imagine how a native speaker would say it in a hurry. I'm going to the store. Hear how it becomes one sound? The going to becomes gonna. The to the links together. If you are listening for going to, you might miss it because it sounds like gonna. But if you are listening for the rhythm, you hear the stress on store. You know that store is the destination. You don't need to worry about the grammar of going to. You just need to know the direction and the place. This brings us to another character. Let's call him Sam. Sam is listening to the radio in his car. He is driving to work. The radio host is talking about the weather. This is a classic listening test because weather reports are full of numbers, temperatures, and place names that are spoken very quickly. The host says, "We are expecting some heavy rain in the northern regions, with temperatures dropping to around 5 degrees Celsius. So grab your umbrellas, folks." Sam is driving. He cannot look up words. He has to listen and react. He catches heavy rain. He catches northern. He catches 5 degrees. He catches umbrellas. He doesn't worry about expecting or regions or dropping. He understands the main message. It will be cold and rainy in the north. Take an umbrella. He reaches over to the passenger seat and grabs his umbrella. Success. He understood the essential information without needing a perfect translation. This is functional listening. This is English working for you in the real world. I want you to notice that Sam, Liam, and Maya are all different people in different situations, but they are all using the same strategy. They are filtering out the noise and keeping the signal. They are accepting that they are not dictionaries. They are human beings interacting with the world. You must give yourself permission to be like them. You might think, but Alex, if I miss a word, maybe I will miss something important. And yes, sometimes you might. But usually, if you miss a detail, the context will make it clear later. Or, if it is really important, the person will repeat it. Think about your own native language. If you are talking to a friend and there is a loud noise, do you panic? No. You just say, "Sorry, I didn't catch that." In English, it is exactly the same. You can say, "Sorry, could you say that again?" Or, "I missed the last part." It is not a failure to ask for repetition. It is a normal part of communication. Let's look at Liam again. He is getting ready to leave the dinner party. He is saying goodbye to everyone. He is putting on his coat. Sophie comes to the door with him. "Do you know the way back to the station?" she asks. Liam pauses. He is actually not 100% sure. He remembers the train station was to the left, but the street was dark when he arrived. He could lie and say yes to save face, but that would cause him problems later. Instead, he uses his honest partial understanding. He says, "I remember the station is to the left, but I am not sure which street." Sophie smiles. "Oh, just go left here and keep walking until you see the big church. You can't miss it. Liam hears left. Keep walking. Big church. He understands. He says, "Great. Thanks for your help." He didn't need a long explanation. He got the landmarks. He trusted his ability to follow directions based on the key words left and church. This example shows that communication is a two-way street. When you show that you are trying to understand, people will help you. They will simplify their language. They will use gestures. If you pretend to understand perfectly when you don't, you miss the chance to get help, and you might end up lost. Accepting partial understanding means being honest about what you caught and what you missed. It turns listening from a test into a collaboration. You and the speaker are working together to make meaning. This takes the pressure off you. You are not alone in the conversation. I want to talk a little bit now about the emotional side of listening. We have discussed the technical side, like content, words, and intonation, but the emotional block is often bigger. Many of you feel shy. You feel that if you don't understand, people will think you are not smart. You might feel embarrassed. I want to tell you that this is a myth. Native speakers make mistakes in listening all the time. We misunderstand jokes. We mishear lyrics in songs. We ask people to repeat themselves. It does not mean we are stupid. It just means we are human. When you are listening to English, try to take your ego out of the equation. Imagine you are a scientist observing an experiment. You are just observing the sounds. You are curious. What is this sound? What does it mean? If you don't know, it is just data you haven't processed yet. It is not a reflection of your intelligence. Maya, the student in the library, felt this way at first. She was afraid to listen to debates because she thought everyone would judge her if she didn't understand the complex arguments. But one day, she decided to listen to a debate about environmental issues. She didn't understand the technical terms about carbon emissions, but she heard the passion in their voices. She heard problem, solution, future, children, planet. She understood the core values of the debate. She realized she could participate in the discussion by sharing her feelings, even if she couldn't use the expert vocabulary. She felt empowered. She realized that her opinion mattered, even if her English was not perfect. That is the ultimate goal of English in Fluency. We want you to use English to express yourself, not just to pass an exam. So, how can you practice this at home? Apart from just listening to English audio, I recommend a technique called shadowing. No, this does not mean looking at shadows. Shadowing is when you listen to a short sentence or phrase and immediately repeat it out loud, trying to copy the rhythm and the intonation exactly. Do not worry about the meaning for a moment. Just try to be a mirror for the sound. This trains your mouth to move like a native speaker, and it trains your ear to hear the connections between words. For example, if you hear, "Do you want to?" don't say, "Do you want to?" Say, "Do you wanna?" Feel how the words slide together. When you can produce the sound, it becomes much easier to hear it when someone else speaks it. It connects your physical speaking ability to your listening ability. Liam uses a version of this without knowing it. When he was at the dinner table, he heard David say, "It was hilarious." Later, when Liam was telling his brother about the dinner on the phone, he used the same phrase. David told a story about his dog, and it was hilarious. By using the phrase, he reinforced the sound in his memory. If he hears hilarious again, he will recognize it instantly because he has used it. Active use of language boosts passive listening. It is a circle. The more you speak, the better you listen. The better you listen, the more you learn to speak. Now, we are going to tackle the final frontier. We are going to talk about how to handle the confusing world of slang and idioms. We will explore how your eyes can help your ears. And finally, I will give you a clear, simple roadmap to build a daily listening routine that fits into your busy life. So, let's begin with one of the most intimidating parts of listening to real English: slang and idioms. You know the feeling. You are feeling confident. You are listening to a conversation, and suddenly, someone says a phrase that makes no sense to you. You look it up in the dictionary, and the literal meaning is nonsense. It is like hitting a wall. For example, imagine someone says, "I am over the moon." If you translate those words literally, you might picture an astronaut. You might think, "Why is he on the moon?" This is where many learners panic. They think, "I will never understand this language if they keep speaking in codes." But today, I want you to see idioms and slang not as walls, but as decorations. They are just colorful ways of saying simple things. Let's bring Liam back one last time to see how he handles this. After the dinner party, Liam decides to go out for a drink with a few other people. They go to a local pub. It is noisy, crowded, and full of people laughing. This is the ultimate testing ground for slang. Liam is standing at the bar with a new friend, a guy named Toby. Toby is a native speaker, he is very relaxed, and he uses a lot of informal language. They have been chatting for a few minutes, and then Toby looks at Liam and says, "So, Liam, how did you find the party? Was it your cup of tea?" Liam pauses. He knows the word cup. He knows the word tea. But he knows they are not drinking tea right now. He is confused. In the past, he would have stopped the conversation to ask, "What do you mean about tea?" But today, he uses his context clues. He looks at Toby's face. Toby is asking for his opinion. The question is, how did you find the party? Liam realizes that cup of tea must be an expression that means something you like, or your type of thing. He doesn't need to know the origin of the phrase. He just needs to know the feeling. He decides to take a risk. He smiles and says, "Yes, it was great. I really like the music." Toby smiles back. "Awesome! Glad to hear it, mate." The conversation continues. Liam successfully navigated an idiom without even stopping to check if he was right. He just felt the energy of the question. He guessed. And he was right. This is the confidence we are building. It is important to realize that you do not need to use slang to be fluent. You only need to understand it enough to follow the conversation. Do not put pressure on yourself to memorize lists of idioms. That is boring and ineffective. Instead, just treat them like little puzzles. If you hear, "It's raining cats and dogs," do not panic. Do not look for animals falling from the sky. Just look out the window. If it is raining heavily, you have solved the puzzle. It means it is raining hard. If you hear someone say, "I broke the ice," look at the situation. Are they at a party where nobody is talking? If they just started a conversation and people started laughing, you know, broke the ice means they made people feel comfortable. You are a detective. Use the scene around you to explain the strange phrases. Let's look at another example with Maya, the student we met earlier. Maya is now at a university coffee shop. She is sitting with a group of classmates. They are discussing a difficult project they have to finish. One of the students, a girl named Sarah, looks very stressed. She sighs and says, "This project is a piece of cake, but the deadline is killing me." Maya hears piece of cake. She knows cake is food, but she looks at Sarah. Sarah is not happy. She is talking about a difficult project. Maya realizes that piece of cake cannot mean a literal cake. Later in the conversation, another student says, "Don't worry, we can help you. It's easy." Aha! Maya connects the dots. Piece of cake means easy. She didn't need a teacher. She connected the context of the difficult project with the response of, "It's easy." She learned the idiom in the moment, in real life. This kind of learning sticks much better than reading a list. Now, let's move on to a very powerful tool that we often forget about: visual context. We tend to think listening is only about ears, but listening is a full-body experience. When you are talking to someone face-to-face, your eyes are giving your brain huge amounts of information. You can see the person's lips moving. You can see their hands gesturing. You can see their eyes widening or their eyebrows frowning. All of these things help you understand the words. We call this nonverbal communication, and it is your secret weapon. Let's imagine Sam, the guy who listens to the radio in his car. Usually, Sam only listens. He doesn't see the speaker. But today, Sam is at a train station meeting a client. He is standing on the platform. It is very noisy because a train is arriving. The train conductor is standing near the doors, shouting instructions. The train is making a loud hissing sound. Sam cannot hear the conductor clearly. The wind from the train is blowing. If Sam relied only on his ears, he would be lost. But he uses his eyes. He sees the conductor pointing at the yellow line on the ground. He sees the conductor making a stop motion with his hand. He sees people stepping back. Sam understands immediately. Step back. He didn't hear the words. He saw the action. He combined the weak sounds he heard with the strong visual signal. This is a crucial skill for B1 learners. When you can't hear the words, watch the body. Think about watching a movie or a TV series without subtitles. This is excellent practice. Even if you don't understand the dialogue, you can understand the plot. You can see if two characters are arguing because they are standing close and shouting. You can see if they are falling in love because they are smiling and looking at each other softly. Visual cues provide the emotional backbone of the story. Once you understand the emotion and the action, the words become easier to guess. So, my advice to you is to watch more English content, but focus on the actors' faces. Watch their mouths. English has specific mouth shapes that can help you distinguish between similar sounds. If you see someone's mouth puff out, they are probably saying a P or a B. If you see their tongue touching their teeth, it is probably a thief or a T. Your eyes can confirm what your ears think they heard. Let's create a scenario for this. Imagine Liam is back at the dinner table with Sophie. The room is noisy. Someone asks Liam a question, but he misses the beginning of the sentence. He hears, "You? This weekend?" He doesn't know if they asked, "What are you doing this weekend?" Or, "Are you working this weekend?" Or, "Who are you seeing this weekend?" He looks at the person's face. The person has a hopeful expression. They are holding a calendar. They are tapping a date on the calendar. Liam takes a guess based on the visual cue. He says, "I am free on Saturday." The person smiles. "Great! Do you want to come to the cinema?" Success. Liam used the visual clue of the calendar to guess that the question was about plans or availability. He didn't need the exact words. he saw the context, and he responded correctly. This brings us to the final and most practical part of our discussion today: creating a daily listening routine. You can have all the strategies in the world, but if you do not practice regularly, you will not improve. Consistency is much more important than intensity. It is better to listen for 10 minutes every day than to listen for 2 hours once a week. Your brain needs repetition. It needs to get used to the sounds of English on a daily basis. But I know you are busy. You have work, school, family, and chores. So, we need to find hidden time in your day for listening. I call this the sandwich method. You can sandwich your English practice between things you already do. Do you brush your teeth in the morning? That takes 2 minutes. Listen to a short English news update or a podcast while you brush. Do you commute to work or school? That is perfect listening time. Instead of listening to music in your own language, put on an English podcast. Do you wash the dishes or cook dinner? Put your phone on the counter and listen to an English conversation while you cook. Do you go for a run or walk to the shop? Take your headphones with you. These are pockets of time that are already part of your day. You do not need to find extra time. You just need to fill the empty time with English. Let's look at how Sam organizes his routine. Sam drives for 30 minutes to get to work. He used to listen to the radio in his native language. Now, he listens to an English podcast specifically for learners. He chooses a podcast that is interesting to him, maybe about technology or sports. He doesn't stress about understanding everything, he just listens. Sometimes, if he is stuck in traffic, he repeats one section 3 or 4 times until he catches the main words. Other times, if the traffic is moving fast, he just lets it flow and enjoys the rhythm. He accepts that some days he will focus more, and some days he will focus less. But he never misses a day. This consistency has transformed his listening. He realizes now that he understands the traffic announcements on the radio, which used to be impossible for him. Maya has a different routine. She doesn't have a long commute, but she likes to relax before bed with her phone. She used to scroll through social media. Now, she watches 10 minutes of a YouTube video in English. She tries to choose videos that have subtitles, but she covers them with her hand or a piece of paper for the first 5 minutes. She forces herself to listen first. Then, for the last 5 minutes, she checks the subtitles to see if she was right. This active and passive combination works wonders for her. It turns her relaxation time into productive learning time without feeling like study. For Liam, his routine is social. He makes a rule to speak to at least one person in English every day, even if it is just ordering a coffee or asking for directions. This active listening forces him to be present. He cannot zone out because he has to reply. He also listens to English music while he is in the shower in the morning. He doesn't try to understand every lyric, but he gets used to the sounds and the rhymes. He sings along in the shower, which helps his pronunciation and his listening at the same time. Singing is actually a form of shadowing. It forces you to match the speed and the melody of the language. I want to encourage you to make your own routine today. Sit down with a piece of paper and a pen. Write down your schedule. When do you wake up? When do you eat lunch? When do you travel? When do you relax? Find those 15-minute blocks. Write English in Fluency or English listening in those slots. Treat it like a doctor's appointment. You wouldn't skip a doctor's appointment because you are too busy or too tired. Treat your English learning the same way. It is an appointment with yourself for your future success. Also, be smart about what you choose to listen to. If you are a beginner or at the lower end of B1, do not try to listen to a political debate or a complex academic lecture. You will get frustrated and quit. Choose content that is comprehensible input. This means content that is just slightly above your current level. You should understand about 60 or 70% of it without trying. If you understand 100%, it is too easy. If you understand 10%, it is too hard. Find that sweet spot where you understand the main idea, but you have to work a little bit for the details. This is where learning happens. There are so many great resources out there. Podcasts for learners, YouTube channels for learners, news sites for learners. Use them. Do not jump into the deep end before you can swim. Let's talk about what to do when you feel stuck. Even with a routine, there will be days when you feel like you understand nothing. You will feel like you are going backwards. This is normal. It is called the learning plateau. It happens when your brain is processing all the new information you have given it. It is like a computer updating. Sometimes the screen goes black, and you can't do anything. But when it comes back on, the system is faster and better. When you feel this stagnation, do not stop. Keep listening. Keep the routine going. Trust that your brain is working behind the scenes. If you push through the plateau, you will reach a breakthrough. And suddenly, you will realize that you understand more than you did last month. I want to share one final story about Liam. It is his last day visiting Sophie. He is packing his bag to go home. He feels different than when he arrived. He feels lighter. He feels more confident. He realizes that he didn't understand every joke at the dinner table. He didn't understand every announcement at the train station. But he survived. He had fun. He communicated. He connected with people. He looks at his ticket. He is going back to the station. He is not nervous this time. He knows the station might be noisy. He knows there might be delays. But he knows he can handle it. He accepts that he might not hear the platform number clearly, but he knows he can ask someone. He knows he can look at the signs. He trusts himself. This is what I want for you. I want you to finish this session feeling like Liam. I want you to realize that fluency is not a destination that you arrive at one day and say, I am here, I am finished. Fluency is a journey. It is a way of traveling through life. It is the ability to handle the unknown with confidence. It is the ability to smile when you don't understand and keep moving forward. It is the ability to be okay with partial understanding because you know that full understanding will come with time. So, to summarize everything we have discussed, number 1, change your mindset. Stop trying to be perfect. Accept that you will miss words, and that is okay. Number 2, focus on the strong words, the content words. Do not worry about the small grammar words. Listen for the rhythm and the music of the sentence. Number 3, use context. Use the situation, the visuals, and the emotions to guess the meaning of slang and idioms. Number 4, create a daily routine. Find the hidden time in your day to listen to English consistently. I am Alex, and I have loved sharing these strategies with you on English in Fluency. I hope you feel more confident. I hope you feel ready to go out into the world and listen without fear. Remember, every time you listen, Even if you don't understand everything, you are training your brain. You are building your fluency muscle. Be patient with yourself. Be kind to yourself. And most of all, enjoy the process. English is not just a subject to study. It is a tool to connect with the world. Use it. If you found this helpful, please do me a huge favor. Subscribe to the channel and turn on the notifications so you don't miss any future tips. Also, please share this with a friend who is struggling with their English listening. Sometimes, we just need a friend to tell us that it is okay not to be perfect. You can be that friend. Thank you so much for listening. Thank you for being part of the English in Fluency community. You are doing an amazing job. Keep listening, keep smiling, and keep going. I will see you in the next video. Until then, take care and goodbye.